Hey everybody, Kirk Junge here from learninggolf.tv. I had a chance to get out and hit a few balls finally the other day and work on my setup for impact golf swing. This swing, I believe, is the easiest golf swing anybody could learn, simply because I am set up close to my impact position. Very similar to what Bryson DeChambeau is doing. Very unique swing, and I think it's the easiest swing that anybody could copy. Again, I like to customize the information for each person, but I'm going to just show you. I get out, I like to check things on my iPhone and iPad out on the range with the V1 app, like I am here. So I'll just hit a ball and then film it, and then I just check a couple things, see how my hips, if I draw a line here, the center of my body, you can see there's a bit more spine tilt at setup, and that's one of the things that I've found help people simplify the golf swing. If you've seen my other videos comparing it to tour players, you'll see they set up fairly upright, and at impact there's about 30 degrees of tilt. I like to match things up, so set up and impact match as closely as possible. So if I draw a line here through my shoulders, I'm just going to take you, for this aspect, we're going to go back, I'm just going to take you to the top of the swing, and you see my body's still tilted about the same amount. And when I come into impact, I want you to just look at the shoulders for right now. You can see if I drew again a line there, you can see it's almost identical. And the spine tilt, you can see because I've rotated more towards the target, you can see the center of my upper body is a little bit, looks to be more towards the target. It's actually more rotated. And so that's one big aspect that I'm looking at. If you look at the hips, you can see the lead hip has turned in. I don't want to see a lot of sliding. A little bit of lateral motion, of course, is fine, but we want to try and minimize that as well. You can see at setup, I'm already set up with the hip already a bit over to the left more than you would see in a conventional swing. This is going to simplify the motion because I don't have to start with the hips centered and then move them 3 or 4 inches to the side at the same time as trying to square the club face. So if we take away these, the other aspect, and you see with Bryson also, he wrote recently on golf.com about his swing, but basically likes to set up with the hands forward. This is close to what we need at impact, as far as you see the club shaft with the forward shaft lean already at setup, and this is what we're going to want at impact, about 7 degrees of shaft lean. Again, it depends on how high or low you want to hit the shot, but generally this, and with the club in line with my leading arm. So if I take it through, and this is something I'll check when I'm practicing, is to see what's it going to be at impact. Does it closely match or not? So you can see the hands are past the line. So if you then compare the angles, you see it's virtually the same. And this is what I'm looking for. I like the straight left leg. That's something I'm looking at. The hips have rotated in their space, meaning I'm rotating around the spine. So other things I'll be looking for is to see that the upper and lower spine, you see I have circles around that's staying fairly in position. So as I'm going back, you see my head staying in position, but also my hips shouldn't be moving laterally. So the head stays in position. Looking at a transition, getting the hips moving first. This was a 3/4 swing, so I do have a longer swing than this normally, but I was hitting some shots trying to get a feel for the motion, and I advise that in my drills on the website, I have you starting out really with short swings and a lot of drills without golf balls to start out just to get the feel. And then when you go to the range, this would be one of my about ball striking drill number 2 on my website. But checking, I'm watching the head. I'm also watching the hips, that they stay in the circle. And I have a tendency in other videos you might see where I will play the ball a little bit far forward, and then my hips are also, and head would also be moving laterally so I can make a good impact. So it's just a compensation. Much like you see those who copied Moe, he sets up too far away from the ball, and so his compensation is to move lower, about 3 or 4 inches down and into a bent left knee, which is just a compensation for being too far from the ball. And so here I have my ball position pretty good, what I like to see here. And I also want to see that the hip and the head is not moving over that line before impact. And it also tells me then that my spine is staying at pretty much the same angle because the lower and upper spine have not moved. So I'll also draw a line here on my belt buckle to see that the hips are staying at about the same height throughout the whole swing. So you can see here, there's rotation, but I don't want to see the hips moving up. As you see in the conventional swing, many players' hips are rising about 3 to 4 inches, and that is compressing the spine. In most cases, their heads are lowering as their hips are rising, which is creating compression on the spine. So I don't want to see that. One thing I work on in my swing is also keep the head at about the same level. In this, it is dropping a little bit. That's a remnant of trying to copy Moe in the past, which was a big mistake for me. And it's gotten much better. It dropped maybe an inch or so. And I found that standing closer, much like Bryson does, has helped me out a lot. So I'm using video a lot here for checking things in my swing and simplifying it. And that's something that I offer people as part of my very inexpensive membership. You send in videos to me and I help you build your swing along these simple ideas where we can simplify the motion. For each person, it's certainly going to be a little bit different. So it's going to be completely customized versus exactly copying another player like Bryson or Moe. I don't believe in doing that, and unless your body exactly matches theirs. But basically, Bryson has less compensation in his swing, I believe, than Moe did, and so Moe is much harder to copy. And I believe in Moe's swing also most people will lose distance simply because of the lack of using the ground and hip rotation to create power. In Moe's day, basically, you didn't have to hit the ball a long way to do well, and today we don't want to sacrifice any distance, especially when it's unnecessary. Rotation or rotating the body is not that hard, especially when you're set up for impact. So please visit my website at learninggolf.tv for more info, and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and like this video. Thank you very much and have a great day.